Hey guys, welcome to another episode of AJ's Green Thumb. It is January 3rd, Sunday, January 3rd, and guess what this dude is doing? He is still planting bulbs. So you may be thinking, it's way past fall, you're in the middle of winter, why are you planting bulbs? Well, I still have a lot of bulbs left over, and in all honesty, I really hadn't gotten that far. So here I am planting some bulbs. Now I'll read a few lines off of hgtv.com's website concerning planting bulbs, which may help some folks understand that it's okay if you still have bulbs to plant. So the best success with spring flower bulbs is to plant them at the optimum times. Ideally, bulbs should be planted at least 6 weeks before hard ground freezing frost can be expected in your area. The bulbs need time to root and establish themselves. On the other hand, planting bulbs too early can lead to fungus or disease problems. A good rule of thumb is to plant bulbs when the average nighttime temps in your area are in the 40 to 50 degree range. At that point, the soil temperature should be just perfect for tucking bulbs in for their winter's rest underground. In colder northern climates, plant in September or October. In warmer climates, you may need to plant bulbs in December or even later. So I would say that so far this winter has been pretty mild. It's been very wet, but it's been pretty mild. And because it's been so wet was one of the reasons why I kind of held off, in addition to just not really having the time, to be quite honest. But every time I'm ready to plant, there's a 50 to 100% chance of rain. And it rains, and it rains, and it rains. In my area, and specifically my yard, it collects a lot of water. So anyway, today I'm going to be putting some bulbs in these containers behind me. I'll probably put close to 20 bulbs per container, so that may be a lot, but it's going to go in the front and it's going to be serving for high impact. Let me see, I have going in these pots, and I'll be sure to put on the screen what exactly is going into those pots. I have 20 KungFu tulip bulbs and 35 cream of the crop tulip mixture, super sack. So that's a blend, and the KungFu tulip bulbs I think are like a deep pink, light red color. So I'm just gonna throw them all in there together, layer them, and you guys are gonna be in for a real treat come this spring. So I'm going to be layering this mixture. One group says to plant 5 inches deep, and then the other group says to plant 6 inches deep. So I'll just be layering them. So the moral of the story is just go ahead and take a chance and plant those bulbs that you find tucked away in the closet or the garage or whatever. I mean, it's better off giving them a fighting chance to see what may happen if you plant them versus not planting them at all. So right now I'm going to go ahead and drill some drainage holes in the bottom of these containers. All right, so I went ahead and laid some weed fabric at the bottom just to cover up the holes to prevent excess soil from escaping the container. So to kind of get ahead of the soil settling when I water, I go ahead and compact it just a little bit so that the bottom 5 inches are nice and solid and compacted. Not overly compacted, but just enough. So using a ruler, or in this case, a leveler, this is about 6 inches deep. So that's where I'll go ahead and put my first layer, which requires 6 inches in depth. So here's the super sack. It requires a depth of 6 inches. Now this step isn't exactly necessary, but since I'm going to have these in a container, I'm going to add some bulb tone. So these get to be 20 inches to 28 inches high, and it says you want to plant them 3 to 6 inches apart. But when you're doing container planting for bulbs, you can plant them a little closer, especially with tulips. And I prefer to put tulips in containers versus the ground, because no matter how much grit or sand I may add to ground planting, tulips tend to not always come back reliably every year. So I'll put about 15 to 20 in this container, and then I'll put the other 15 in the similar container. I'll go ahead and cover these up. So I got roughly 5 inches. Let's go ahead and put our other row. And I'll go ahead and put a picture of these up on the screen as far as how they look. These are KungFu tulip bulbs. I got 20 in here. I'll go ahead and put 10 in this container. And I think I'll top these off. I think I'll top these containers off with some crocus because I have a whole lot of crocus. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill or cover these bulbs up, this last layer, and go ahead and put in some crocus. Crocus are very early season flowering bulbs. So here are my crocus, and in fact, I'm gonna go ahead and jam pack some anemones in there as well. So might as well. So both the crocus and the anemones should be planted at a depth of 3 inches. 3 inches for the anemones, 3 inches for the crocus. Just pat it down lightly, especially if you're doing a lasagna. This is called lasagna bulb planting for obvious reasons, because you're layering all your bulbs. What I like to do is kind of pat it down lightly, just so that you have a solid layer between your sets of bulbs. All right. So that's about 3 inches from the top. Let's go ahead and put in our anemones and crocus. Now you're probably saying, damn, that's a lot of bulbs. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. They will do fine. You're probably asking, how are the bulbs on the bottom gonna find their way to the top with all the bulbs on top of them? That's okay. They'll figure it out. They will figure it out. Time for the anemones. So with anemones, I don't think they're called bulbs. I think they're called corms. And they look like little pieces of you know what. So you're probably like, wow, are those things even alive? Don't worry. They'll figure it out. In between the crocus. Sprinkle a little bit more bulb tone and cover that up and transfer it to the front. And I got these nice basket weave containers at Home Depot, believe it or not. I figure get something that looks nice since it's going to be sitting on the front porch until spring. So there we go. Not too bad. Here's what it is. Like I said, I got it from Home Depot, and they really aren't that expensive. You guys will see how this looks come spring. So I have a few more chores in the yard to do before heavy rain gets here, and I may even show you guys me planting some more bulbs out into the yard. All right, guys, thanks for watching AJ's Green Thumb. Please like, subscribe, and please comment, okay? And I'll see you in the next video. Happy New Year, guys.